can use your ideas before you've spent a single dollar. This is week 2 of the 30-day founder blueprint, and I'm going to run you through this entire week, 7 different videos on validation. This is one of the biggest places that the startup founders that I work with, the entrepreneurs that I work with, they go wrong. They get the idea in their head, they're convinced it's going to be a game changer, and they just run off and start building, spending money, time, energy, resources to get the product completed and out into the market, and they've not bothered to validate if anyone's willing to pay for it in the first place. So this is literally the graveyard of where startups go to die. Is got an idea, gonna build it, put it out there, no one buys it, and next thing you know, you failed. And I don't want you to fail. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk through a couple of ways that you can validate your idea without spending a single dollar. So the first one is take the problem and fall in love with it. I want you to absolutely fall in love with the problem, not your solution. That's what happens. Everybody gets excited. I've done it myself. You're like, I've got this great idea. And the idea is the solution, not the problem. I want you to fall in love with the problem, whatever it is, the thing that you want to solve in the world to make the world a better place. Fall absolutely in love with it. Then I want you to talk to 5 or 10 people that have this problem and ask lots of questions, right? Ask lots of questions. Now, when you pick your 5 to 10, it can't be someone who it hurts a little bit. You literally want the people whose, the saying is, their hair is on fire. They are so incensed to fix this problem that the perfect person for you to talk to. If by chance you figure out that not enough people really care, well, then you just validated that there isn't demand for your solution and you just don't need to chase after it. So that's the first one. Pick the problem and then do a customer deep dive. That is part of validating demand for a solution. Now, it's not enough for these people you talk to. Yeah, I'd buy that if you made it. That's not validation. That's too easy. There's no skin in the game for them. Later in the week, we'll talk about how to make sure there's skin in the game so that we have some real validation. Step 2 is, once you've deep dived on the problem and you know it intimately, we're going to run a smoke test. And a smoke test is going to gauge interest without actually having a product in the first place. One of the ways you can do this is by creating a landing page. Now, there's so many different ways to build websites these days. You can do it free or very inexpensively. I use a solution called Kit. It's an email solution that also provides landing pages. Not too long ago, I had what I thought was an idea for a product, and so I built an entire landing page, and then I posted it on social media, and I gauged how many people came and signed up. What that landing page was promoting a webinar for the product. The product wasn't even built. It was just a webinar that I was going to do about the problem, okay? And I was actually going to use that as validation for demand. And by the way, if you get into that type of mode when you're on a webinar, that goes back to step 1, which is talking to customers and asking questions. So it wouldn't have just been me on a webinar spouting ideas. I would have been also asking the audience questions. So I put the landing page out there, and I had a goal in mind for a number of people to sign up for me to continue with it. Not enough people did, so guess what I did? I just killed the idea. So put out a landing page. You can use things like Card, you can use ConvertKit. Make sure you write really good copy on that landing page. So a killer headline, talk about the problem, talk about how you might solve it, those types of things. And then you could just put a button on there that says join the waitlist or pre-order now. Okay, when people are clicking and doing those things, that's at least an action. They may not be, it'd be great if they are pre-ordering now, by the way, because then they're actually giving you their money. But, you know, it's okay to just say join the waitlist. At least you're starting to build a list of people who would be interested when you build the product. And then every email or sign up that you gain is a vote of confidence, right? You could do this with no money. You could also spend, say, $50 and promote it on Facebook or Reddit or somewhere else inexpensively and just see what kind of traction that creates for you. So a landing page would be a good thing. Another thing you can do is you could create what I call an MVP, or what other people call an MVP, a minimal viable product, but it doesn't actually have to be the product. So instead of building an app, you could do something manual in the background. There are well-known startups that have gotten started this way. So what they did is they put out a website, click here to order or click here to do this thing. Customers have come on, they've paid for that thing, but there's no software in the background doing the thing. There's actually people doing the thing and delivering the service. They don't have to know that. Customers don't have to know that. You're not being deceitful. You're still delivering the service you said you would do. It's just the way in which you're delivering it's different. You haven't built the software yet. So let's say you're doing a meal planning app where you could put out a landing page about a meal planning app, have people sign up and pay for it. But instead of software creating their meal plan, you could go and do that in the background and just create it in Google Docs or something like that manually and then deliver it to them. So the key here is you're seeking commitment. You're not seeking compliments. You don't want to hear that's a cool idea. You want to hear I'll pay for that. So that's another method you could use. Once you do those types of activities, again, free ways to validate demand for what you're doing, the other beauty about this is you get in a constant loop of learning. You shouldn't just be looking for those signups. You should be engaging with people that do sign up. So I know lots of founders who are very smart to continue validating demand for their solution before they've even built it. Let's say they get 10 or 20 people who sign up for something. They'll actually reach out and either email or call, which is great, some of those people and ask lots of questions. Hey, I noticed you signed up for my service. I'd like to connect with you and ask questions about that. Get on a call, ask lots of open-ended questions. Hey, what was it about the idea that made you sign up? What's the feature that was most interesting to you? What's the feature that you could care less about? How did you feel about the price point I recommended? All of these types of things. This helps you continue to further validate the idea. So this is a 3-step validation process that you can use. Recap it, deep dive on the problem, fall in love with the problem. Fall in love with the problem and talk to lots of people. When you say that, it's not enough. Talked to a startup founder yesterday who's got an idea in the beverage service. And I said to him, I said, you can't validate by talking to your close friends, your mom or dad. He had validated by going and talking to industry experts. And that was a great way to do it. So deep dive on the problem, talk to lots of customers. Step number 2, run a smoke test, landing page, some sort of inexpensive way to put the idea out into the market and see what kind of traction it gets. And then don't just let it go at that. It's not enough to get signups. Use that opportunity to connect with people and get more feedback. That way you will iterate on the problem. I've seen a lot of people that do use this 3-step process successfully. And what happens is they get to step 3 where they're gathering more feedback and they're iterating, and the end solution that they come out with is so perfect. That's when you see that hockey stick level sales, because you dialed it in by talking to customers who would pay you in the first place. Your idea deserves a real shot. Please do not run out. Have spent this entire previous week ideating on what you're going to build and already start building it. I know all the fuzzy things, fluffy things are great and fun to do, like logos and designs and name of the business and all this. It just feels so good. I don't care. It doesn't do you any good unless someone pays you for your service. So this week is probably the most important week in the entire 30-day founder blueprint, which is to validate that idea. Don't build anything yet. Let's go through this whole week together. You'll come out on the other side with validation or no validation and save yourself a lot of time and money.